can go ahead and do
I mean, this is a church. Come on.
Yeah.
Of course, it's the clean version, right?
Well, and then also too, if I got Juan's approval, because he was very adamant and passionate about this song, but dude, it hit me. I was like, dude, that what are you chasing? Power. That would work really well with this.
There's
I have
also
some questions if you want.
Huh?
I have some questions if you want.
Well, I've got some questions too.
These ones are like
Are yours funny?
no, they're just more like like
See, I was gonna ask some of these too.
like where'd you make out with your no, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
That's not
where'd you make out with your wife first?
Yes.
Church. No.
Yeah. Yeah, well before we were divorced,
In the parking lot of Heine Brothers.
There you go.
Yeah.
where'd my keys?
Could we play that song, and it still keep streaming?
Probably not, because I feel like Kanye is gonna be he's gonna be quicker about shutting that down than anybody. But
I'm living in the 21st century. Do it something mean to it. Do it better than anybody you ever seen do it.
I really hate outdated technology sometimes because like this mixer has a spot for your phone.
iPhone 5
An
SE.
iPhone, it's legit for an iPhone 5. Like my screen is 2 inches bigger than the entire like holding thing. It's stupid.
Do the newer ones have it bigger then?
No, this is they've just kept making it like this since like 2012 and have not changed this freaking thing.
Also, is this good?
Hey, are we playing? Because this is
Yeah,
good
we're
podcast
rolling.
material.
I'm just rolling. I've got it going. So
Sweet.
This is great. Good.
Dude, this is gonna be our new way of ministering. Every Wednesday. So we're not meeting anymore. You guys are just gonna hang out with us three and shoot in front of the hip here. So.
Now I'm really like self-conscious because I don't know what I said the last 5 minutes.
Oh.
And so
Well, we know now that you were divorced. So
Yeah.
you
Oh,
were
yeah,
divorced,
yeah.
so you've been married at least once.
have not been married or divorced. On the record. Yes.
And you're
what
a fan
about
of
what about
Convo.
off the record?
Off the record,
Low key.
we'll go off the record.
Hey, what happens in Iowa, Mexico? It's got to stay there.
In Iowa, Mexico, yes.
That's a place. Can you imagine a town in Mexico named Iowa?
There's a Mexico, Missouri. You know
But that's different. I feel like
because it's Missouri.
yeah.
Okay.
Missouri, there are no rules. That's why they're always in misery.
Oh.
Wonder where he read that. What book?
I always wanted, when Vine was a thing, I always wanted to make a Vine of me crossing over the Missouri state line with the song Misery by Maroon 5 playing. But I just never did.
Huh. Not enough free time.
I am in misery.
Oh, look, Missouri.
Yeah. I miss Vine. Vine was great.
Dude, you got TikTok. It's like
It's not the same. TikTok is dumb.
I agree.
It is not the same.
Have you downloaded it?
No.
Download it, give it a week, and then tell me it's
I
dumb.
don't have to because you send me the stuff you've sent me is all I need to see.
I've sent you like 2.
Exactly. That's all I need to see.
It's so good.
Dude, it's like drugs. Like you cannot. It's like a thing of Pringles. Like you cannot just have one Pringles. You cannot watch just one TikTok and be like, okay, that's cool. I've had enough. Like there's no. Even if you're like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever watched. Let's watch another.
Yep.
I can only have one Pringle because I think Pringles are gross. I'm more of an I can only do that. I can't do that with Oreos though. Oreos, you literally can't have just one. They are chemically designed to where you cannot just have one.
Oh yeah.
Do you eat your Oreos with milk, or do you just eat them plain and hard?
It depends. There are some times where a nice dunked Oreo, there's really nothing better. But sometimes you don't have milk around, or you've got skim milk, which is basically water.
Yeah, you get that from the faucet.
Yeah. Well, my Oreos I prefer to be cold.
Cold,
Cold.
frozen?
Not frozen, but from the refrigerator. And always with milk, whole milk.
Yeah. I don't get people who like skim milk and everything.
So with our household, it's 1% and whole.
Yeah.
So with coffee and Oreos, it's whole milk. With everything else, I'm like 1% or 2%. So
Do you dunk your Oreo then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's a craft. Like you have to know exactly how long you have, because if you just like 1 second too long, the thing just slips out of your hand because it's like disintegrated.
Do you split?
No, I don't split. And I use the double stuffed Oreos.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys,
Triples too much. Original's just not there yet. So it has to be the double.
you guys might judge me, but so I take an Oreo and I put it in my mouth, and then I take a sip, like a good amount of milk into my mouth, and I just let it sit there for like a second or two, and then I crunch down, and it's just perfect.
I can't be mad. That sounds pretty legit.
That sounds more like a craft than
It's
I
just-
have with the dipping.
So you mentioned coffee. What are you drinking?
Right now, so I have a venti triple vanilla wet cappuccino with whole milk. And so with me, or as it's been known as the Souter Special.
Yeah, they literally know you by name.
Yeah.
At
You want your
Kroger,
usual?
Starbucks.
So
Yeah.
the worst was we were living in Lexington, and we stopped at a Starbucks in Louisville, and I ordered this drink, and we were going through a drive-through, and the barista was like, Bradley, is that you? And my wife's like, you seriously have a problem.
Oh my
She had worked in a Starbucks that I attended regularly in Lexington.
Oh my
and got transferred to one in Louisville. And of course, you know, it is a unique order. And if you hear it almost every other day, because I order it every single day, she was like, Bradley, is that you? I was like, I forget her name, but I was like, such and such, is that you? She's like, yeah. I was like, what are you doing here? She's like, what are you doing here? So, yeah, it's the burden I bear multiple times a day.
Juan, what are you drinking over there?
I have an iced white chocolate mocha. I'm not really a big like coffee drinker.
So you don't like coffee?
I didn't want to get a pink drink because I knew you were filming this too.
I'm holding off on video for this week. I just want to get some nice crisp audio.
Even better. Should
better.
have got a pink drink then. That's usually what I really want.
I was like, Juan, what are you gonna get? He's like, man, I really want the pink drink, but if we're videotaping this, like, that's not gonna be good.
Yeah, I don't want people to judge me too much.
So.
I mean, I'm just drinking black coffee, you know, because I'm a man.
Yeah, same. That's what I'm gonna get next time.
Man with the least amount of facial hair in this room. Yeah. All right, I want to go through some of these questions. Well, first of all, we haven't even said hi.
Introductions, right?
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the SCC STU Podcast.
Yes.
With EB and J.
Yes.
EB and J.
Here we go, man.
Side note, Matt said he was jealous and wanted it to be called EBMJ. Because he wants to be in here.
See, I feel like if we had the letters MJ in there, we would just want to talk about The Last Dance the whole time.
Yeah.
I would just be thinking about MJ and just the '98 Bulls, man.
Well, we do have an age cutoff.
Oh, we do?
Like 40 and below.
So you're about to hit that cutoff, right?
I'm a one year guy. So
one and done.
One and done. Yeah.
Done.
So, what is kind of the point of this podcast, Bradley?
So I think it takes a different avenue and trajectory of just how can we connect with people, but also where it's a little bit more loose. Obviously, if you can't tell that, probably more laughing than anything, and phones ringing. But where we can just dive in and share the gospel, or share what's on our heart through different, obviously a different platform, but just, hey, how does this resonate? How does this maybe deal with the age group that we're working with? From things maybe we hear, or we see, or it might pop into our head as we're driving. It's just like, man, I wish I had known that when I was in middle school or high school or going into college, and where we can maybe share some of that with the students through this platform.
Cool. So this first episode, we didn't want to do anything too super serious today. We decided instead of that, we just wanted y'all to get to know us a little bit better. I've only been here for 6 months, and for 2 of those months, we've been in lockdown and quarantine. So I figured it'd be a good way for y'all to get to know me and to get to know Bradley and Juan a little bit more. So we've got some questions that I've thought up, and then Juan's brought some as well.
Yes.
That we're going to walk through. So I think let's start with just my first question. What is each of our full names? So Bradley, you go first.
Yeah, so it's Christopher Bradley Souter.
Wow.
And most people are like, Christopher. So getting license or Social Security and all that stuff, anytime my name was announced, they're like, Christopher. They're like, well, we thought you were Bradley because most people don't go by their middle name. But yeah, Christopher Bradley Souter.
Christopher Bradley Souter. Okay. Juan? Or Guillermo?
Guillermo, yeah. No, so my full name is Juan Antonio Salas Jr. And so growing up, even when I go back home, my mom and my sister, they always call me Junior still, just named after my dad. So
cool.
Huh.
Yep. Always Junior.
Always Junior. My full name is Ethan Davis Barker. You know, very respectable white person name. You
I was
know.
going to say basic over there.
Wait, Barker?
Barker. Yeah.
We didn't know that.
Okay, I'm going to jump over to one of Juan's questions now. So what is the funniest thing you've seen this week?
Oh, Lord.
Shoot.
I just watched. I can go first because I watched it this morning.
I was going to say, yeah, you go. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really read through all those questions. They were ideas from one of my friends, and I read through like half of them. And so I don't have answers for them either.
Oh, well, we're shooting from the hip.
Here we go. That's right.
All right. So I saw this. I love YouTube, so I'm on it all the time, and my recommended stuff is a very wide range of just. It's either music stuff or just the weirdest part of the internet that you could possibly imagine. So, I watched a couple things today that were probably the funniest things I've seen. One was this guy dressed up in a Bigfoot costume playing Country Roads on a saxophone in the middle of the woods. Just, I don't know why. It was just hilariously funny to me. And then there's this YouTuber. I'm not endorsing him. And I'm not talking about that video one, but that video is. Never mind. I won't even mention that one. But I'm not endorsing this YouTuber at all. His name's JonTron, and he did this video that was like looking back on this TV show called Kid Nation from like 2007.
Great show. Love that show.
So
yes.
So you kind of know it's. Someone decided it was a great idea. Some executive at CBS thought it was an amazing idea to send 40 kids out into the middle of the desert with no parents, no supervision,
What?
and told them
Have
to
you seen this
basically
at all?
create a new
What?
society. Yes,
And they thought this was going to work.
Yes,
Yeah.
it
They
was.
split them up into like 4 different teams and
It's
like had them compete
insane.
against each other.
It's insane. So,
I'm going to have to check it out now.
I'll send you the link later. But my gosh,
Yeah.
just the thought process behind that. How can you imagine like the meeting where that was decided? Okay, so we're gonna throw 40 kids out in the middle of the desert with one outhouse, no water, and no electricity, and make them figure it out.
Like, I don't know who's worse, the person who thought of that, or the panel that approved, for
Or
that
the
to
parents that let their kids go.
Oh, it sounds great. No harm
What was
there.
the age range was like? Is like 8 to 14 or something?
Yeah. It was like the youngest kid was 8 years old, and the oldest kid was about to turn 15, and he was like one of the only kids like over 12, and then there were like 4 kids who were like selected to be like the town council or leaders, and all of them were way younger than him, so he had to be subject to the decisions of like a bunch of like 11-year-olds.
There you go.
Dude, it was crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
The challenges were super interesting though, because like they would compete in different games, and as prizes, I remember one episode was like they could choose a prize for like their team, or they could choose a prize for the whole entire, like everyone, like more outhouses.
Yeah.
And like
Water.
you could be selfish and like pick something just for yourself and like your little tribe, or use something for the community.
Yeah.
I don't know what they picked. I don't remember.
They picked outhouses, I think, in that. It was like that.
Yeah.
I
They're
watched
too kind.
Yeah. I watched. It was a summary of kind of like the first episode of it. So like the first challenge was to decide between 8 more outhouses, which luckily they picked.
Yes.
Right.
Versus having one TV in the entire town. So, yeah, it just insanity. I can't even imagine the thought process of that. Okay, so next question from my list. I think I'm just going to alternate here.
That's perfect.
So, where are you from originally? So, Bradley?
So was born in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and basically lived in Kentucky my whole life. Moved to Shelby County the start of 6th grade, and have been here pretty much ever since.
All right. Juan?
Yeah, born and raised in Clarion, Iowa. Clarion, Iowa. Lived there my entire life. Moved to Missouri for college, and then Kentucky ever since after.
Cool.
Ethan, what about you, buddy?
I am born and raised in Louisville. It's pronounced Louisville, not Louisville.
That's right.
And I went to Lexington for college, then back to Louisville, then to Elizabethtown, and then to Lexington, and now my wife and I live in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
So I've basically just lived in a giant triangle my entire life. You know, it's very limiting and
One
makes
of my
me
favorite shapes, triangles.
I'm more of a rhombus guy personally. Okay, so what was the make and the model of your first car?
So I bought a 1984 Chevy S10, and it was completely white with a long bed. It had been a meter reader truck.
Oh, it's a truck. Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't know what an S10
so
was.
it was automatic. It had a straight seat on it. Like you could literally get on one side and slide all the way to the other. The radio didn't work, but the air didn't work, but the heater worked amazingly. And the inside panel of the cab was completely gone. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great first car.
It was. I couldn't wait to get rid of it.
Juan.
I had a 2006 Pontiac Grand Am, and it was.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah, it was one of my favorites. My first car. Who knew that you had to put oil in cars? Because I only had it for about 2 years.
Oh my god!
Look, I was gonna change it that morning, and by
Oh,
change it that morning,
that
I mean
morning.
I was gonna take it to someone to change it for me.
Oh yeah.
And I just forgot, overheated. It was just a big. I almost cried.
Oh, bro.
Had some good memories. Got my first speeding ticket in it. I was going a lot over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't disclose that kind of information in here.
Yeah. Don't do it. Don't drive fast. Not worth it.
So my first car was a 2004 Honda Pilot,
Okay.
or it might have been an 03. So I've had 3 cars in my life. 2 of them have been Pilots. So I started out with a hand-me-down from my dad, who it was just like your standard like basic Pilot. And then one day I came home and my parents were like, "Yeah, we're trading in your car." Didn't ask me, did not get my permission, so my mom could get a new car. And then I got my mom's old Pilot. We had my at one time my family had 2 Pilots and a Honda Element, so we were very much a Honda family.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I got a Prius after that. So
What a hippie.
oh, shut up.
Prius.
I'm just laughing about that straight to the bank. Okay, where did you go to? What is the where you went to middle/high school?
Yeah. So I went to West Middle School, and it was West Middle School where the Board of Education currently is now. So it was like this dark dungeon. I remember going downstairs to the basement where the cafeteria was, and it's like the lighting changed, the temperature changed. It was spooky. But then obviously graduated from Shelby County High School in 2000.
Awesome.
Yeah. Went to Clarion Goldfield, K through 12, one big chain. Yeah.
No way.
So yeah,
One
of it.
school,
It
all
was-
those years.
Yeah,
Yep.
me too.
It was
Really?
awesome.
Yep.
Town of 3,000. Like you really don't have a need for more than one school.
We just need
And
one
so-
building and we got it all.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was pretty cool. Just small community. You knew everyone. My
Yeah.
graduating class was under 70. It was like
Really?
65 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. It was good.
Huh.
Well, I went to the Christian Academy of Louisville,
What?
so private school.
Yeah.
Can't say that I'm any better for it, but yeah. So same thing. I went to Christian Academy K to 12,
Okay.
and kind of similar to Juan. My graduating class was double the size of yours, but it was still only like 120 people.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's cool because you really get to know people through that. But by the time you graduate, bro, you were so tired of them.
Yeah.
Like I almost transferred for high school, and part of me kind of wishes I did, just so I could have like not seen the same people for how long are you in school from K to 12? Like what's the year span? Is it 12 years or is it like
Would it be 13 years?
13 or
13?
14?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like just so I didn't have to see those people for like at least a little bit less time. You know what I mean?
So with Shelby County, I moved from Oldham to Shelby between 5th and 6th. So it was completely new population, new group of people in middle school. But then when you went to high school, we had 2 middle schools.
Yeah,
so you knew like
merging.
50% of the freshman class or whatever. But the other 50, it was funny because I remember like the first like week in high school, you're kind of like, where have these people been? Because you're obviously kind of on like 2 separate sides of the county.
Well, now it's even different now because the split's kind of grown even more because of
and
Collins.
how they have it set up to who goes to which high school. It's like you could be a neighbor, and you're going to Collins and I'm going to county. It's really confusing. I don't know how they make those decisions, but yeah,
that's cool. We had a bunch of like in Iowa. There's a bunch of small towns, and so we had grade sharing a lot. And so we actually the year after I graduated, the school system became Clarion Goldfield Dows, and for years we had already adopted Dows into our system, but we just made like it official and put it in our name.
Gotcha.
But it was cool.
What about college?
So I started at the University of the Cumberlands. It was Cumberland College then, but obviously they've grown significantly since then. I was there for 3 years. Actually majored in religion, changing my major to exercise science, and transferred to UAK. Nothing carried over, obviously, from religion to exercise science.
Yeah.
And so did 4 years of work and about 2.5 years of work at UAK and graduated there. So
Wow.
yeah.
Juan?
I went to Ozark Christian College all
Yeah, you
4
did.
years. Graduated with a degree in student ministry, and now I'm here.
Nice. So I have a very long college career.
That's why we went first.
Yeah. All right. The next half hour is dedicated to Ethan.
Okay, this is the last question.
Okay. All right. Here we go. So I started out at Asbury University, and I was studying worship arts there. And then I actually left. Don't recommend that at all. Left college and decided to try and get some experience out kind of on my own. So I left there, started an internship, and when I was there, I started a Christian ministry degree at Hope International University in California, online, of course, and decided real quick that that was not for me because I was very lazy, truthfully. And then from there, I stopped college for a little bit. And then when I moved to E-Town, I started at ECTC, which is like, there's JCTC right down the road by county.
Elizabethtown Community
College.
Yeah.
Or Elizabethtown Community and Technical College. It's part of the same network as like JCTC and BCTC or BCTC.
Yeah.
So did that and finished my prerequisites. What was that sound?
That was my stomach. I'm hungry.
Oh my gosh. That came through the mic very strong. So after ECTC, I actually landed back at Asbury because like Asbury's weird. You can't do like a fully online degree there until you're 23. So I finally hit 23 and went back and got my bachelor's in what is it? Organizational management.
Do you know what your bachelor's degree's in?
Yeah, I always just say it's basically business leadership.
Okay.
It's just, it's like Christianizing it because I guess it's technically aimed towards nonprofit.
Okay.
But I've barely used any of that in my time in ministry. So
just in case I blinked or misheard you or my stomach growled really loud and I couldn't hear you, can you say that all over again?
So went to Asbury, did a bunch of stuff, then came back.
Bookended
at
with
Asbury, Hope International, ECTC/JCTC, back to Asbury.
Okay.
So, and that was over the course of about 6 or 7 years. So I could have had a doctorate at that point, and I didn't.
Dr.
Ethan.
There you go.
All right, I'm going to jump to one of Juan's because some of these are really great. Name one condiment that describes you better than the rest.
That is a good one. I say barbecue sauce.
Dang it.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
Barbecue sauce. So I like to think that
It's because you're a little spicy. You got a little bit of vinegar
definitely
to
a little
you?
spicy. Yeah, I've got a little bit of a hot head or a temper, but then I could be sweet, I guess, maybe too. Or I like to think that barbecue is kind of more of like a southern flavor, and I definitely have a southern.
The sauce part is definitely a southern thing.
Yeah.
More up north, it's like, Memphis is kind of like dry. It's dry, but I know a lot of people in Tennessee don't claim Memphis,
Right.
so I wouldn't either. But
So I like to think barbecue sauce, but now I think I'm kind of biased just because I could pretty much eat barbecue sauce on everything.
I put it on a lot. Like I put it on mac and cheese. Like I'm that kind of person.
Okay, that's a little far, but
I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Wine, condiments.
See, I'm a big believer on mayonnaise.
Oh.
See, and I think it just goes on things that you wouldn't expect. So like I put mayonnaise on hot dogs because
Why?
Because it's essentially. Do you put like mayonnaise on hamburgers?
No.
Like on the buns?
I put the tiniest amount.
Okay, so I mean a hot dog is essentially like a hamburger, but with
It's not
a different meat.
No.
all
We're
right.
not eat hamburgers. I don't eat hot dogs.
Okay, no.
Now we're getting into philosophical questions here. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No, but mayonnaise does belong on hot dogs. That's
Yeah.
what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it might
Yeah.
on your hot dog.
Absolutely. I put it with corn. It's
Dude,
yeah.
Stop. Okay, Ethan, go.
Gosh,
Dude, I was okay with a hot dog, but corn?
Dude, unexpected things just
Oh.
don't
Dude,
knock
very
it.
unexpected.
Ooh, with
thing.
my tuna.
Now, with tuna, yeah, because if you're making a tuna sandwich, you mix it with mayonnaise.
See, mayonnaise was ruined for me by McDonald's. I used to go to McDonald's a lot as a young man, and I one time got the chicken club, and that was a huge mistake because I took one bite and it was
Just
there was mayonnaise literally no lie, like an inch thick on the top bun. Like at that point I was like, no, I'm done. This is over for me.
So I worked at McDonald's for like 2 weeks in high school, and they shoot the thing
2
from
weeks?
like, yeah, I couldn't stand it.
Is it like a gun?
Yeah, they like shoot it from a gun. No matter how big the patty or the sandwich or burger or whatever you want to call it, it's like, I mean, it's like a gallon of mayonnaise. Like yeah. Like I like mayonnaise, but I've been scarred by mayonnaise because of McDonald's.
Yes.
And once in middle school, because I consumed mayonnaise a large amount, but like I wouldn't finish it all. And one day my mom was like, "You have to finish all." So like I had to. Like I'm gonna dry heap thinking about
that's
it. I had to like
that's torture.
spoon feed myself the mayonnaise off my plate. Oh, dry heap.
Ew.
Dude, it was so disgusting.
All right, you guys are ruining mayonnaise for me, but all I'm saying is you got to know how much to put on. You can't have an inch over the bread.
The thing is, when you go to a drive-thru, you don't have that kind of like power in the process. You know what I mean? Like if you go to Cookout, you're getting what they're giving you. You know, you don't get to say, like, you can tell them light mayonnaise, but light mayonnaise is so subjective.
And at McDonald's, if they see light mayonnaise, they're like, "Ha ha."
Yeah.
Say, I tried. You know?
I tried.
I tried. I'm sorry.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. So my condiment, I think I'm gonna sound like super Jesus jukey here, but Chick-fil-A sauce.
Oh, I thought he was going to say mayonnaise and barbecue sauce.
Well,
He's going to be that guy.
well,
But he went one above.
see, Chick-fil-A sauce is barbecue sauce and mustard.
Yeah.
Right. Both of which are my favorite condiments. And, you know, I like to think that, like, I know in person I can be very quiet and subdued, kind of like mustard, but I have a little bit of spice underneath or a little bit of vinegar underneath from the barbecue sauce, I guess.
Really? Yeah.
So that's kind of my thought process. Who knows if I have an accurate depiction of what I'm like in person, you know.
I think even Jesus is shaking his head now. Yeah, this guy.
This guy.
Wow.
Chick-fil-A sauce.
Wow.
God.
What is your favorite Marvel movie?
Oh,
Because there's a lot of good ones.
yeah.
Do you have one?
I do. Oh yeah, instantly. So I'm a huge comic fan, huge Marvel fan. I'm if I was anybody, like, hey, which action hero or whatever, probably Captain America. But I love Robert Downey Jr. and how he portrays Iron Man. Just that class. instantly when I think of the question Civil War, Captain America Civil War, because I think it starts and really brings
It's a very
up
good one.
Yeah, and I think it shows the coolness and slickness of Tony Stark at his peak, but then shows like the kind of just the beliefs and values of Captain America. But tied with that would probably be the first Iron Man, because to me it starts it all.
Well, yeah.
And it was
Well,
very
it's not just to you,
raw.
it's to everybody. It starts it all.
Do what?
It's not just to you that it starts
but
it all.
It starts it all for the universe of Marvel.
Yeah.
And it's the first glimpse that we get of Robert Downey Jr. portraying Iron Man. It's just like, I think everything from there on obviously feeds off of it, no pun intended, in a sense of just like, can it be bigger? Can it be better? Can it be funnier? And it all started there. So those two in my mind are tied.
Yeah.
Yeah. Confession, I've never seen any of the Iron Man movies. I'm a
1 and 2 are good. 3
so
is
next week it's just going to be E and B.
E and B, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because
Jay's gonna
be watching the movies and you can't come
Yeah.
on here until you have them finished.
You should read that list that Brett posted.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
watching them in chronological order.
And if you need them, I have every single Marvel
I might have to
movie.
do that.
I also have Disney. We talked about this. I have Disney Plus.
Yes.
I have Disney Plus now.
There you
Oh, you
go.
do?
Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks to shout out to Brett for that one.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
But I do like Marvel. I'm a big comedy guy, and so Thor Ragnarok
Ragnarok's
is
great.
one of my favorite Marvel movies. It's just so funny. I laugh every single time.
Just the path and direction that they went down was completely different than any other Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, we're going to have a Marvel superhero movie that is basically a comedy with action, not an action with comedy.
Right.
And it worked to a T. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, yeah.
That the director in there, the guy, he's actually the guy that plays Korg. His name's Taika Waititi. Like all his stuff that I've seen has been really funny. Like, but it's not like a beating you over the head with like jokes and stuff. It's more just like the subtlety stuff. That,
Yeah, like, did you see that? That was so funny. Type
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I love Spider-Man. I'm gonna make a hot take. I'm gonna say a hot take here. I think Tobey Maguire was way too old to play Spider-Man.
Yes.
Because every character in the Tobey Maguire like universe, like they all look 30 and they're supposed to be like 16.
Yeah.
Was that like a 2000s thing, Bradley, where like everybody had to look like they were 28 and like had gone through a divorce? Because that's kind of what everyone
the
in
early 2000s were a lot of bad decisions. No.
Creed.
So, no, that I completely agree with you.
That said, I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
Oh yes.
Like Far From Home is amazing.
No, I would disagree with that.
What?
Part. Yes. The Amazing Spider-Man, in my opinion, was the best.
No.
Yes.
Get out.
No.
Andrew Garfield is the worst.
No.
Yes.
Because he, again, so this is the issue I had with the first three Spider-Mans. So you have this wicked smart kid who's a super
You mean
dork.
30-year-old?
Who's a 30-year-old, yeah. And then when he becomes Spider-Man, he's like this clever and charismatic and almost half comedian. Superhero.
That's Spider-Man though. He's a quip guy. He throws out the quips.
Right.
He thwips and quips.
But there has to be a balance through that where it's just not like the switch. And I think in Amazing Spider-Man, Garfield does a very good job of that because he does have some cleverness to him as just a Peter Parker. And then he has that as well.
He's too cool to be Peter Parker. He's too cool. Peter Parker gets the crap kicked out of him all the time.
Yeah.
He's too cool to be Peter Parker. Juan, thoughts?
He's not seen these ones either.
Yeah, what's a Spider-Man? No, I'm a big fan of Mr. Maguire, but I do think he is too old. That being said, I don't know.
Have you seen The Amazing Spider-Man, the two movies that it was
Yes.
Andrew Garfield?
Yes, and
What are
I
your-
think he is too cool.
Yeah,
Probably.
yes.
Like thinking about it now, like I don't think if I was a high school bully, I don't think I'd make fun of him.
No.
He's not the nerd.
He is
you know?
no, he's definitely not
Yeah,
a nerd.
he's the cool guy for sure.
Well, in your all's defense, like they had to bring Jamie Foxx in as the villain just so he wasn't the coolest person in there.
Yeah,
no.
okay.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a hot piece of garbage. It is a hot piece of garbage.
Oh,
The first one was good. I wasn't a big fan of the second one.
The first one I can deal with, but like when you're so hand-fistedly like saying, "Hey, we're gonna have like 6 more movies," like when they were walking through the basement and there's like the stuff for the vulture, scorpion, and like all that stuff in the tanks behind them.
Yeah.
It's like you did this to yourself.
That's
you
true.
you have basically dug your own grave
Right.
by doing
Right.
that.
Retired.
okay.
All right. Bradley, do you play video games? Or have you in the
I
past?
have, yes.
Okay. So what's your favorite video game?
So I'm a little old school with the original Xbox, Star Wars Unleashed 2.
Bro, Force Unleashed?
Yes. So we are currently playing that at the house because obviously Elliot is a huge fanatic about Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And so every day he's like, "Dad, Xbox, you, me, let's play," which ends up being me watching him play. But I remember playing it for the first time and going through it, and it was way ahead of everything else in my opinion.
Yeah. Too bad it's not canon anymore.
Right. That's right.
Juan, I know you're a gamer.
Absolutely. Always been first-person shooter games.
Yes.
FPS.
Call of Duty is my main one. Just during quarantine, especially, been getting back into that, and it's really just nice. I mean, even
Is that
connecting.
why you've grown the beard? Is it just like
Yeah, just
you're just like living out the fantasy of your Call of Duty character?
honestly, yeah. I just wanna
Just
be
hanging
just
out
like
in a
them.
tree, just waiting for somebody to come by.
Nah, but it's been fun for sure. Just reconnecting, even through like live chats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But for sure, need to get back at it.
Yeah.
I've got some rust on it.
I don't know if I have a favorite. Like, that's the thing. I don't have like a favorite movie or a favorite like video game. It's kind of constantly changing because like stuff's constantly getting better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right now, I'm playing 3 games. I'm playing Animal Crossing New Horizons because I don't know. It's so addicting for whatever reason to do chores.
To do
Like
virtual chores.
Virtual
I was gonna
chores.
say, I need some dusting done in my office.
Like my house can be an absolute wreck, but dang it, my island is going to be spotless. No weeds or anything like that on my island. And then I'm playing 2K20 because I'm a huge basketball fan, and always wanted to play in the NBA. Then I realized I wasn't that good. So, Juan, do you play 2K?
No, I
know
don't play any
you said
2K.
your roommate.
My
plays a
roommate
ton.
plays 2K. He hasn't played in like 2 months, which I'm really proud of that actually.
Wow.
But he's
He
good.
went to the Lord with that one, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I actually I just recently got Xbox Game Pass, which is an amazing investment if you don't do it. I think it's like $15 a month for Xbox Live Gold and like this back catalog of amazing Xbox games.
Really?
So like I'm playing Mass Effect, which originally came out on the original Xbox, I think.
Okay.
And it's made by this company called BioWare, and they probably made my favorite video game ever, which is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. And it's the same people that made that. My only thing about Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was it's all turn-based combat, and Mass Effect is like, like real time. Like, it's unfortunately there's no lightsabers or anything like that because what's the point? But it's cool so far. But it's also, you can tell it's a game that was made in like 2006. Especially when you're playing on an Xbox One on a 4K TV and it's in like 480.
So I'm going to go really, really old school on you guys. Growing up, the best game was the original Zelda,
Bro.
and then Contra,
Well,
which we knew
now Zelda 1,
Zelda 1.
like, are you saying
Where he's like kind of laying on his side?
I don't know. My first Zelda was the Ocarina of Time.
bro?
That's the first one I played.
I think Zelda's probably my favorite franchise video
for sure.
game, but none of them are like my favorite game.
The first one was, I remember, for like original Nintendo, was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And then the Contra, where you had these 2 brothers going through. My brother and I would play that nonstop. Just blowing things up and shooting people, whatever. So.
Like, I think going back to Zelda, I think that was the first game that I spent like hours and hours of time on that. And we were talking about this Star Fox 64.
Star Fox.
Yep.
Like the N64 was like my first. Like I played NES. Like I had an NES in my room where I would play Super Mario Bros. 2. No, not 2 because 2 never officially came out in the US. But Super Mario Bros. 1 and Duck Hunt. I had the gun. I had the light gun, which was amazing. But then like the N64 is like the next step up, I guess, when it came out, and then we got one and got Zelda, and I spent way too much time in that game.
You remember with
Majora's Mask?
Do you remember the original Nintendo with the duck hunt and like you missed the ducks and the dog would laugh at you and like shoot the dog?
I wanted to shoot. Yeah, that is so frustrating.
Yeah.
Did you ever go duck hunting in real life?
No.
Like, see, because I used to play. So growing up, my friends, they all used to skateboard, and I could ride it for like a couple feet. I was not good at it by any means, but I would play Tony Hawk's Underground for hours, just because I was like, man, I'm good at this game. Like,
I think everybody who played Tony Hawk went through like a short phase of playing the game where they're like, I can do this in real life, and then like after breaking their knee so many times, like it's like it's probably not for me.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got? Let's do a most embarrassing high school / middle school memory. Like, what's your most embarrassing? Like, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think I got one.
Oh, you've never been embarrassed, Juan. I can tell. So I think mine would have to be. So I went to Christian school, obviously, and we were doing like a night of worship at my school. When I was a junior or senior, I don't remember, but I was stepping up onto the stage, and legit, I was wearing skinny jeans by this point, and legit, my pants just split down my leg. And so, and this was like an hour before like the whole thing's supposed to start, so I had to drive home, which for me was like 30 minutes. I did not live in the east end of Louisville at all, and had to drive home, change pants, and drive back. So I got back maybe 10 minutes before this whole thing started. But like when it happened, like my whole band saw me. Everybody who was helping us out saw me. It was, being that age.
Yeah, that could scar you.
Yeah, didn't deter me. Obviously, it didn't deter me from wearing them again.
Yeah,
but
right.
Still.
Most embarrassing. Man.
I know that was like 50 years ago for you, so it's a little hard to remember.
This
but
guy. It wasn't the most embarrassing. It was maybe one of the funniest. So in Shelby County High School, basically you have two long hallways, and then you have these cross hallways that connect the two longer ones. So it almost makes like a H, if you will, or a ladder.
Okay.
And my brother and I, he would come down one side and I would come down the other. And he would just start yelling. Like, this is between classes. So there's a ton of people. He's like, hey, brother, I heard you said something about me and like would make something up. I was like, yeah, what are you going to do? And he would grab me and spin me around and throw me into the lockers. And I would act like my head hits the lockers and I hit the ground. I'd be like, Brendan, you just broke my nose. And like everybody be like, oh my gosh, a brother on brother fight. This is awesome. And all the teachers come, we start dying laughing until the teachers no longer thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And so we
how did you get away with that?
We didn't. That's the most embarrassing part. We get in trouble about that.
So this happened multiple times. This wasn't a one time.
Yes. And so we could get really good because like he could spin me around. And of course, it's like, I mean, my brother's 3 times my size, and throw me, and I would get so like, I mean, half an inch from the locker and like just hit it and make the loudest noise and just drop to the ground. Like,
so would you like slam your hands on it?
Oh yeah. Okay. Like, I mean, everybody's, you hear something slam and it's in the middle of high school. And everybody's like, yeah, they're like, oh my gosh, there's gonna be a fight. And so people like gather around. I'm rolling on the ground like, oh my gosh, Brandon, like you broke my nose and blah 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 blah. And people are like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. And we both start dying laughing. We did that occasionally. I know too, like I skipped school once and there was a cop waiting for us. That was kind of embarrassing. there was once, so I was sophomore, and I left. We had this big farmhouse, so these huge, like no joke, these windows were probably 4 or 5 feet tall. These huge country farmhouse windows, and I left them open that morning because there's sun shining, not a cloud in sight. And by the time we got to school, this like cold front or storm front was coming through, and it's like, dude, it's about to pour down rain. I remember telling my teacher, I was like, I need to call my dad to make sure that he knows he needs to shut the windows. And she's like, no. I was like, I'm going to leave then. And she's like, if you leave, I'm going to write you up. I was like, well, you can go ahead and write me up. And I remember driving all the way home to shut these windows, and it never rained.
Oh.
And that was the first time I had detention. I remember walking into detention, and the guy who oversaw detention, he, like, I guess I was just more polite than the rest of them, because I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and do what I'm supposed to do, blah, blah. He's like, you don't get in trouble a whole lot, do you? I was like, no, sir, this is the first time I've ever been in detention in my all 4 years of high school or whatever. He's like, okay. And so he's just like, just sit here and do your work, and if I need some help, I'll ask you to help me out with something. I was like, okay. So.
Yeah.
Do you still have nothing? Are you that good of a kid?
No, I just really did nothing in high school.
Oh my gosh.
Or middle school.
Come on.
No, there was
middle school. Everybody has something because it's just the.
That's why I went with high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I did something embarrassing in middle school, I've suppressed it enough that I don't remember it. No, there was one time. It had to be middle school. After gym class, I'm going back to the locker, and I didn't really try in gym, especially not middle school.
No, why would you?
You know, I'm changing my shoes, right, and I'm walking across barefoot, in the locker room, and I slip.
Oh.
Like I slip and just eat it, like just on my butt, just on my back, and everyone just hears like a slap on the ground, and they just look at me, and they don't say anything for like a couple seconds, and then everyone just starts laughing. And I'm just like, oh yeah, that's funny, guys. I slipped, huh? And
Totally meant to do that.
yeah, it went. That was the rest of the day.
And you can't act like it hurts in that moment.
No,
like,
yeah.
You have to act. You have to get up and try and be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as a guy. Like as a guy, if you act like that hurt, that was going to define you for the next like 4 years of your life.
Right, right.
You know.
What, you didn't slip and fall either? Psh, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. So we're almost 47 minutes into this.
Yeah,
oh my
good
gosh.
stuff.
But I mean, it's been good. We've been rolling.
It's good. I don't know if it's in good content.
Yeah.
But
Hey, I think it's been great. I've had fun with it.
yes.
All right. So to kind of wrap this up, Juan and I both have kind of the same question, but his is aimed at 20-year-old you. Mine's gonna aimed more at middle school / high school you. So what would you tell yourself at that time? Like knowing what you know now, what would you tell past you?
Oh man, now we're getting deep.
I know, throw you in the deep end right at the end of the pool day.
Man, that is a really good question. What would I tell myself? I think something that has to do with patience, probably. Honestly, if I could go back and talk to myself, I would tell him, hey, it's going to be okay. To stay with it, to really just know that you're going to be okay even if you change your mind. I think in middle school and in high school, I had so many ambitions, and so like every other day it was something different. But just stay okay with being yourself, and that it's going to be okay no matter which direction you go in. Yeah, I might come back to that.
Okay.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I would. I would for sure tell myself to like just try it. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. I think that was one thing that growing up, even now I have regrets of like not trying out for sports just because I didn't think I'd be like great at it or something like that, and so I just didn't put in the initial effort to see what it would have been like.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think it'd be I wouldn't be perfect in it, so I just didn't even care to try it.
Yeah.
Even in sports or making new friends and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think if I had to tell middle school / my high school self anything is like there's nothing that you could do that would make the people that love you less. You know what I mean? Because I think for a lot of middle school and high schoolers, like, I think they're so wrapped up in trying to please the people that they deem important, like their parents, their teachers, or like student pastors. Like, you know, but in reality, those people, they just want what's best for you. And if that means, you know, you have to learn a hard lesson and mess up, like, it's okay. It's okay to mess up, you know? I think for me, like, I was so like wrapped up in being the good kid that I wouldn't really let anyone know that I was struggling in areas. And because of that, like, I think coming into my adulthood, it's hard for me to talk about those things, you know? So yeah, I would just tell myself, it's okay to let people know that you fail, and it's okay. And when you fail, there's nothing that you could do that would make those people love you less. So, yeah.
So going back to it, for me, I think it's two questions just because high school and middle school for me were completely opposite. And so the reason they were completely opposite was in middle school, I was trying so hard to be befriended by everybody and their brother. And to the point where I wasn't myself. And that was the difference between middle school and high school. Because once I got to high school, I was just like, I'm just going to be myself. And I thoroughly enjoyed high school. And I guess maybe that popularity or being noticed or appreciated naturally just happened. Not that I'm like this superstar or was over the world, super popular, but it's just like I was just Bradley, and people thought Bradley was cool because Bradley was cool. Where in middle school, I was trying so hard to not be Bradley. And so if I could tell myself, if I could go back and have a talk with younger Bradley, I'd tell him, hey man, just take a deep breath and like, just be Bradley and you're going to be okay. Because again, being a brand new kid, the only kid I knew on day one in middle school was my brother. And of course, we're middle schoolers, so it's like, we're not going to hang out with each other. You know, it's like, we don't know each other. It was just like, man, I'm on an island by myself and I don't want to be alone here. And so I tried so hard to just fit in and be accepted and be liked that it was not who, I wanted to be. And I wasn't definitely very comfortable being that person. And it didn't work, you know, and so.
Yeah, I think it's really funny, like, how middle schoolers are, like, they think that nobody can tell that they're not being their true selves, but it's so easy to tell. Like, as you get older and you look back, you're like, gosh, I was so not me during that time. And I was putting on this persona of like, you know, I'm like, for me, it was, I thought I was the coolest person in the world. But when in reality, the way I felt inside was like the way I was acting outside was to compensate for the way I felt about myself inside, you know? And it's just so funny looking back because I'm sure everyone else around me noticed it. And I'm sure that my teachers and my parents all saw it. But it's just funny to think that we can, as middle schoolers, fool people for how we actually feel about ourselves, you know? Yeah. So, guys, that's it for our first episode.
Man, that was cool.
I know.
Really
I
cool.
did not expect us to go this long, but I really enjoyed today.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to where this all kind of goes and grows.
Well, and I hope it, because, you know, you talked about like, hey, I just got here and I kind of get thrown in. People can learn about us. I don't know, for me, like, I was on stage, I was asked 4 questions, and then I was speaking the very next week.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like, and one of the questions is like, do you shave your legs? Like, that's what you want to know about me? And so there's, not that my life is super important or interested, but there's a lot about us that hopefully, and I think that's the reason we're doing this, can help those, you know, that are younger, that are in middle school and high school, where, okay, we can't go back and talk to ourselves, but we can talk to you all who is willing to listen to us and know that, hey, we like movies, we like video games, we like to laugh and cut up.
Yeah.
But man, there's some things if we could do over again, or hey, we can't change our past, but we can maybe have a small impact on whoever's listening's future.
Yeah.
Man, that'd be tremendous. I think that's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's great, man. Juan, you got any closing thoughts?
What's for lunch?
That's right. That's right.
Well, guys, this has been the first episode of the SCC STU Podcast. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.
Cool.
Deuces.